What's up, guys? Here with you at FC Wonderkid, episode 74. Here with my guy, Breton. How are you?
I am doing okay. Group B in the World Cup is not doing okay. England, the United States, who else? Wales. They all look in
Iran?
the mud.
No, Iran
is
no.
the only. No, they look good. Iran looks good, and that's the funny team. That's the team that everybody is probably underestimating. But hey, before we get started on that, because I'm sure we got a lot of comments, I got to ask you, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing all right here. Portugal's giving me reasons to be extremely happy with Fernand Sanch. And after a loss with Switzerland, I was happy to see that game with Czech Republic. But people, please don't forget to like this video and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify if you can, and Apple Podcasts, because you are going bold with us. But yes, Fredson, you started with mentioning that group and England, okay, and Southgate ain't looking good. Southgate, in his 5 last games this year, he hasn't won one game. And I wonder when you have Maguire. Maguire starting. What's that decision making from Southgate? And in 4 starts this season for Maguire, Maguire has no wins. No wins. A loss to Brighton, 2-1. 4-0 to Brentford, 1-0 to Real Sociedad, and a loss now to Italy. 4 losses in 4 starts for Maguire.
I'm with you, but what are we supposed to do for Harry Maguire? Because at some point,
bench?
you beat a yeah, I mean, I guess so, but you beat a guy down so much. At some point, you got to start to pick the man up if you think he's a viable entity for you moving forward. And I guess Gareth Southgate and even Eric Ten Hag believes that Harry Maguire has something to offer, but he just gets killed. Killed so much. But I'm 100% with you. It was not a great game versus Italy. It was Giacomo Raspadori getting another goal for them, which was great to see. But when it comes down to it, England, and are you ready for this? England was relegated. Relegated. It might not mean anything to a lot of people, I guess, but anytime you put England and relegated next to each other, it's got to rankle a lot of people. And Gareth Southgate aside, Harry Maguire aside, this is not a team that is inspiring confidence when we are less than 2 months away from the World Cup.
Facts.
In those 5 games, 1 goal. 1 goal.
From a penalty. What? From a penalty. From open play, 0 goals. 0 goals in those 5 games. And what I gotta say, knowing this Southgate, that he has 0 goals from open play, what would you expect? Giving a chance to a striker before the World Cup. And good, he called up Ivan Toney to be in the trainings, but not in the matches, because in the match squad, Ivan Toney wasn't even on the bench, and you would expect him just to get 15 minutes, a chance to show what he can do for England before the World Cup. Southgate was very wrong for that. And England fans, not all negatives, okay, here for the start. I just want to say, though, Jude Bellingham has to start for England. Foden too, and Saka. If he's the best player, the best English player this year, you can't play him out of position. You can't play him out of position, and that's why he didn't perform as he does at Arsenal. Okay, that wasn't deserved to do that, and I think he should play where he plays best, Saka, and the whole team. There needs to be changes for England. That is boring football and 0 creativity there. And I want to point fingers to another player this season. Mason Mount. 0 goals, 0 assists. He's not adding a lot, even from the bench, okay? And you have Maddison, that wasn't even selected, Sancho, that wasn't even selected, that have the creativity that England needs. So I sure believe that there needs to be a switch of mentality in this England team, and Declan Rice can't be so positive when he is relegated in the Nations League with these bad performances, saying, in the World Cup, everything's going to be good. Yeah, who's your backup striker for Kane? Even Toney doesn't even get a chance. So he's backing Southgate. So he sure hopes the Southgate goes bold in the World Cup. But I'm not going with that. I'm not going with that.
Well, here. Okay, you did say a lot of stuff that was negative there, right?
Yes.
Okay, and all of which is 100% valid. And if you go into the Twitter sphere, which don't do it if you don't have an iron stomach, because it is not pretty. It is not pretty at all. But here is the silver lining.
Mhm.
Here's the silver lining. Isn't it better to have these issues now and to work through them so that during the World Cup, you are at your best self and you know your weaknesses and you're able to present them. Now, here is the issue. Here is the biggest issue. A lot of people don't think Gareth Southgate has the capability to change.
Does he, though?
They believe, exactly, they don't believe that he does. And I don't know. I'm not a good enough critic of managers to really feel like he actually does. He doesn't seem to have a
World
plan.
Cup with him. England won't win a World Cup with Southgate because I'm saying they have zero creativity. They're not playing with a good build-up play. And why?
Yeah.
Because you have a Trent Alexander-Arnold on the bench, one of the best providers in the world of football. So players like this not having an opportunity shows that the future of England is in trouble with Southgate doing the decision-making. Tomoris, Sancho, Foden, Saka, Jude Bellingham, all these players need to have a manager that knows how to play with them. It's not just believes in them, that knows how to use them. And if England are going to win a World Cup, replace Southgate, in my opinion. I'm going to say that, Bretson. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say it. Mourinho,
yeah, well,
Mourinho in England.
There is no way in hell Southgate is getting replaced before this World Cup.
That's 100%. That's 100%. Yes.
But yeah, it does feel like he's trying to fit what is it? round pegs into square holes is what he's trying to do. He's trying to fit like Saka. He's cutting it off before Saka can even get started, to the point where like it's one of the first time I saw some negativity about Bukayo Saka on Twitter in a while that wasn't partisan based. But I think though maybe there's a little bit of a weirdness to this whole UEFA Nations League type of thing, because I'm sure you didn't have on your bingo card that after 5 fixtures with 1 remaining, that it would be Hungary at the top of a group with Germany, Italy, and England in it. But at the same time, England should be playing better. They should be playing better with the collection of talent they have. And if Southgate can't do the job, he's not changing from now until the World Cup. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what there is to be uber excited about, because they've got the depth. They've got the talent.
Agreed.
But it sounds to me like they don't have the system.
Agreed. I agree a lot with what you said right there. That's the perfect ending for England. But tell us, people down below, what you think needs to happen for England, who needs to be selected, and what's the problem in that lineup? For me, the creativity is zero. That's the problem, in my opinion. But tell us down below. So yes, let's move to another problem that I saw that I have to voice this criticism for this player, and it's Mbappé with France. I saw that Mbappé didn't want to take photos with the team because he didn't like the sponsors of KFC and a betting company sponsoring France. That makes no sense. Mbappé is bigger than PSG now and bigger than the French national team right now. That is cap, okay? I think Mbappé is stepping over his foot, and he shouldn't be acting that way. Look at the history of players that France has had. Zidane's highest level, and no player complained. And now Mbappe is complaining about that? Come on.
Yeah, I don't even really want to argue the other side of this at all, but, you know, in as highly litigious, highly like legally oriented as the American culture is, for it seemingly to be about his rights, his image's rights, and all that stuff. Whatever. There might be a grain of whatever going on there that could provide validity to his argument. But when it comes down to it, it does feel like Kylian Mbappe is the despot of PSG. He is the despot of Les Bleus. And unfortunately, at 23 years old, it's going to be that way for some. time. It is going to be. It's Kylian Mbappe's team. It's Kylian Mbappe's country.
Those are the mans that a Ballon d'Or player would do. Like, Mbappe still hasn't even gotten a Ballon d'Or, and he's refusing to take photos for KFC. Like, that is elite decision-making, okay? But he's getting 300 million from PSG, and so he's a billionaire in the near future at 23 to get that money. But I'm going to say that, man. I hope Dembele doesn't become that guy. I hope he doesn't advance it. Come on.
No.
Let's see.
Dembele knows the power of karma. You act like that, his hammy's going to go again, and it's not going to be good. But let's be honest. Let's stay on France, because obviously we need to wrap Dembele in bubble wrap right now. That's for damn sure, because France has this growing list, this massively growing list of injuries. And unfortunately, it's also adversely affecting Barcelona, right? Because Jules Koundé is the most recent, and it sounds to me like he might be out 6 to 8 weeks. But I don't know what France is going to do. All I do know is that they have the depth to deal with this. I'm telling you, if France takes a B team, okay, or a B team sparkled with a bunch of A players, A-plus players in there, right? I mean, but Benzema, there's no guarantee he comes right back. He's older. He's dealing with a knee injury. Calf injury?
Yes.
I hope he comes back. We want to see Benzema at his best. Pogba likely isn't going to be back in time.
But
right?
no Pogba needed. Like, I'll be honest. Right now, Pogba, he's got bigger enemies to face with himself, Pogba. Trying to find reasons why he's not playing well with witchcraft, that makes no sense, Pogba. You were a baller, man. He was one of my favorite players to watch too. Like, I didn't understand that, man.
I don't purport to know anything about voodoo or whatever it is, witchcraft that he is purportedly a part of. I have no clue. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is that even with world-class ballers on the bench, or even ballers that aren't necessarily in the right mindset here, France has enough talent to break the curse on its own. And I'm going to say it right now. This injury crisis that is happening for France, this terrible play that's happening in the UEFA Nations League, even though they did dispatch Austria, it is a blessing in disguise, in my opinion. You want guys like a Chouameni. You want guys like a Youssouf Fofana. You want guys like a Christo Nkunku that are going to – they are not the Mbappes of the world. They are not the Benzemas of the world just yet. They are going to fight to break that curse. And I think you almost need like a B-plus team in order to get out of that group, break the curse, and then see what happens. Hopefully you can get special moments from Mbappe, special moments from Griezmann. Hell, Olivier Giroud becoming the oldest French goal scorer of all time. Like, this man is aging like fine wine, and he's got more left in his tank. He could simply get them into the round of 16, not on his own, but he can be the goal scorer until Benzema is back, right? I just believe that this is going to be this injury crisis, while it doesn't feel like it, is going to be a blessing in disguise for Les Bleus. We'll see.
Giroud being the all-time goal scorer for France can happen. He's 2 goals away from it, okay? I think he's equal to Henry, okay, in French national team goals. That is elite status. And I know Mbappe is going to reach those levels, and I sure hope he treats the French national team differently in the near future. I just want to say that. And just ending with that too, that money from KFC goes back to the French youth. So that's why I'm so vocal to defend the sponsors, because Clairefontaine needs the money to provide those ballers that keep on going. But tell us, people, your thoughts down below about everything about France, the future of France, and about this Mbappe polemica, okay? News.
And we also, I got to give a little shout out. Boubacar Kamara is another one that I thought was really rising through the ranks at Les Bleus, and unfortunately, it seems like he's going to be out for a pretty long time. He's another one that got injured over this international weekend. But it has been for a lot of teams, it has been a very costly international window so far. And I know you probably held your breath a little bit. You puckered up a little bit when you sang that collision between the Czech Republic goalkeeper Vaklik and Cristiano Ronaldo. That was scary. That was not nice.
That's true.
Yeah.
He was bleeding at 37. The way he was bleeding, man, that was not nice to see. And you did touch that subject. And I think Barca are in real trouble, man, because Conde is reportedly only going to come back before the Bayern game, and Ronald Araújo won't even come back after the World Cup. Only after the World Cup, Araújo is back.
That's a huge blow for Barca and for Uruguay. I mean, that is...
Wait. No, I think he might play, though, for Uruguay, though. I think it's because he plays for Uruguay still. Barca still won't have him until the 31st, okay? The 31st of December. So
unless of course he goes in for surgery, right?
Yes. I think I think he's really gonna try to go to the World Cup. But let's please, Ronald Araújo, you got such a bright future ahead with Conde. Yeah. Just let it go the right progress with that injury, and don't go too crazy on it. Like we've seen in the past, other players. Like we can transition to those other players, like Fati, okay, with the Spanish national team, okay, with Luis Enrique. I gotta mention this. They had lined up for the first time ever in Nations League history 4 players that were born after 2000. Ferran Torres, Eric Garcia, Gavi, and Pedri. All Barca players too. So that was an interesting stat that shows that Spain are investing in youth. Trust the youth.
Yeah, but how did it go? How did it go?
Switzerland too. Switzerland is a tricky team, though.
They are a tricky team. They are. No, but apparently he didn't get the Pedri Gavi memo because he played them together and they wind up losing. No,
again.
I think Luis Enrique is going to come out of that and say, "Hey, we had 80% possession, but they didn't have that many more shots on goal. They weren't very inventive." That you would see with a Xavi ball team, you would actually see some inventive things to break down a Swiss defense. I did not see that in that Spanish side. And that center back pairing, I do rate Eric Garcia long term, but like that center back pairing, I think is going to get exposed. It is going to get exposed at the World Cup. You tell me if I'm wrong, but that Spanish center back pairing, who was the other one? It was Eric Garcia and
Busquets last dance. So it's like, for me, like it's Busquets last dance for Spain.
Yeah.
And for Barca too, because he's gonna leave at the end of next season. And like for me, it's also crazy too. I said 4 players are nominated for the Golden Boy in the Spanish national team with Pedri, Gavi, Fati, and Alejandro Balde. That sure is gonna be starting. Okay, hopefully for Spain in the near future with Luis Enrique. Loving that Barca youth.
Wow. There was one other youth that came off the bench there that deserves a shout for Spain before we move on to the team that beat them, Switzerland. But there's one other youth that deserves a shout, and that is the brother of Inaki Williams, who obviously debuted for Ghana against Brazil recently. But Nico Williams, the winger from Athletic Bilbao, 20 years old, he actually debuted for Spain. Now, a lot of people thought he was going to follow his brother and go for Ghana, but now it's going to, involve a one-time file of a switch for him to ever do that. And for him to do that, it's coming off of a really, really great month for Nico Williams. So definitely wanted to shout him out because it's not easy to break into the Spanish national team, especially when your brother is going and playing for a different nation.
And Nico Williams is still only 20, and yes, he's performing great for Athletic Bilbao, that they're playing really good football. And I just want to say, too, with Nico Williams, seeing him get this deserved debut for Spain, he said something that I agree a lot. That is, no one is born a racist. It's a question of education. Nico Williams, you know what everything is about, and that is very, very right. And to see someone succeeding in football with this mentality, Nico Williams, keep going bold. And yeah, that's true, man. Inaki playing for Ghana and Nico for Spain. Oh my days. Brothers playing for different national teams. That reminds me of one thing back in the day. Like
and And the craziest part is that it's only like a week removed from them scoring for the first time in the same La Liga match, right? So they're making history left and right, and it's going to be Inaki versus Nico, and it just feels like I don't know if they have the ability to actually face each other. When it comes down to the World Cup, I have to look at the actual fixtures and the possibilities there. But man, that narrative writes itself and would be great. But before we move on from Spain, you have to give a shout out to Switzerland and how they continue to play their style of football that just pisses teams off.
Yeah.
It pissed France off in the Euros, and it's going to they inevitably are going to beat somebody big in this coming World Cup. And there's one player that I just want to shout out because what a month he has had. Manuel Akanji, we barely talked about last season because he was so injured like all the time, okay? And then not even a month ago, Pep Guardiola goes, emergency, I need center backs, and I need them stat. He calls them in, and he gets 3 starts off the bat. All 3 of them are wins. 2 of them are in the Champions League. And then Manuel Akanji comes in, and what does he do for the Swiss national team? He scores against Spain as well. So I can't think of a guy that's having a better last month, considering where he came from and how often he was injured for Dortmund. It's great to see him playing his best, even if it is short, whatever. It's going to be a short time until they get back. But I had to mention it because, come on, beating Spain in Spain is a pretty big thing to do.
It's true. And it was very good for us, Portugal, to see Switzerland getting that done. And they beat us 1-0 and now beating Spain 2-1. I loved it. But tell us, people, your thoughts about Spain. What needs to happen in the Spanish national team? And is Spain a dark horse in the World Cup? Tell us in the comments on YouTube down below. But you said you can't think of a player with a better month, okay? And I'm going to say a player that had a better month than Akanji. It was Diogo Dalot. Dalot, man. What a debut for Portugal. Dalot went bold, okay? Everybody's saying, where's Cancel? Dalot did the job. 2 goals, 2 beauty goals, and there's a post check too because Dalot went bold, an ice cold celebration with that. I love to see it. I gotta go bold with. After seeing Dalot doing that, I'm gonna say this: Portugal 100% has the best fullbacks in the world right now. Nuno Mendes, Dalot, and Cancel. Rafael Guerreiro for options. Mario Rui was good too. We are going bold, and no debate, in my opinion. Come on, Dalot.
I don't think I'm going to fight you on that just yet. I don't think I'm going to fight you. And to be honest, you guys might have to call in Erik ten Hag as, your indirect inspirational. Yeah, because it was Bruno Fernandes on the day. Ronaldo eventually got an assist. I know he didn't get his goal. He also got laid out. But then Diogo Dalot. I mean, because Ten Hag has brought the best out of Diogo Dalot. And it is really, really amazing to watch these types of situations arise because when you have your finger on the pulse of Manchester United's fandom, as we do because we monitor it so much, you would have 100% expected Diogo Dalot to be shipped off to Siberia at some point, right? You would have honestly expected that based off of last year. And now Diogo Dalot is seen as like undroppable when it comes to this. And you do have to give Ten Hag a lot of kind of influence to that. And maybe just the turmoil that has gone on at United has really pushed Dalot to continue to hone his game. And I really love to see something like that. I'd love to see it more so in maybe the U.S. men's national team. But the fact that it's making your team that much stronger and that much deeper, I'm okay. I'm okay with that too.
But I think Dalot too with Man United is he really understood that he had a chance to be a part of the start of a new rebuild at Man United. And that's why I really believe Dalot will be the right back with Erik ten Hag if they win the Premier League in near future. That is bold expectations that Man United fans put on Erik ten Hag, and understandably so. And another player too that's helping a lot Dalot is Lisandro Martinez, which thank you to him too, because playing for Argentina, he won't be liking this form of Diogo Dalot, okay? So I'm just seeing those two. Man, and Mario Rui, I was surprised too, but he's not better than Nuno Mendes, okay? People say, Mario Rui started ahead of Nuno Mendes. No, we got a match against Spain on Tuesday, and we need to get at least a draw to go through in the Nations League Final Four, and that's why Nuno was on the bench. Okay,
Now,
just wanted to say that.
Now you would never go Cancelo on the left and Dalot on the right because Nuno Mendes is undroppable to you.
At the left,
okay.
not undroppable, but he's better at the left and Cancelo at the right, in my opinion.
Mario Rui, is he at Lazio? Where's he?
He's good. Yeah, Napoli.
Interesting. Well, no, it's a good problem to have, but yeah, you can only start 2 fullbacks. So that depth is going to be needed, obviously, in the group, because you don't have an easy group to get through when it comes to that. But Portugal does; they have essentially a cup final, and it's against a strong side against Spain.
And another 2 players that I want to shout out with Portugal, and I definitely think they're gonna start for Portugal in the World Cup. I can say it right now; they're gonna be in my lineup. Rafael and Diogo Costa. These 2 players are showing progress in the national team, and Diogo Costa right now is one of the best goalkeepers in the world in terms of ball distribution. Pinpoint passes. Diogo Costa does it, and I think that's why he starts over a goalkeeper like Patricio that has 104 caps for Portugal. Legend vibes from Patricio, but Diogo Costa is going bold with that ball distribution and performances. One of the best goalkeepers in the world coming.
Much better than Cal the Dragon. For sure.
Definitely, man. Definitely. And hey, I might say better than Matt Turner.
Oh, come on now. That's a low blow. That's a low blow.
Diogo Costa.
Oh, no. I understand that sentiment. First, we got to see Matt Turner play a little more before I can. No. I do think Diogo Costa is better than Matt Turner as it stands. Matt Turner might be a better shot stopper, but Diogo Costa, it doesn't. It's not a big hurdle to climb to be better than Matt Turner at distribution. Okay, because Matt Turner is not good at ball distribution at all, and neither is Zach Steffen, frankly. So anyway, when it comes down to it, you are set. I am excited to see Portugal versus Spain. But I do have to go back. I got to go back. I mean, are you done? Do you have a couple more things to say about Portugal?
My last thing with Portugal is right now, Cristiano Ronaldo has 1 game. Cristiano Ronaldo has 1 goal and 1 assist. I think until the end of the year, December, we're definitely going to see 1 hat-trick from Ronaldo and 10 goals. At least. He's got 1 goal right now, but he will have 10 goals, I believe, until the end of December. Go ball, Ronaldo. Bought it. I believe in him.
I'm never going to bet against Cristiano Ronaldo, but it for some part of me, it feels almost like there's been a passing of the torch. There's been a passing of the torch.
Under?
No, I just, you know what I'm more excited about? I am more excited that stat has less meaning, right? The 1 goal, the 1 assist, that has less meaning. You know why? Because Portugal isn't Cristiano Ronaldo anymore. Portugal is so much more than Cristiano Ronaldo. Yes. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Because Cristiano Ronaldo is not going to be there to put 8, 9, 10 goals. He's not going to be there to be your most dangerous player. You don't need him necessarily.
Hey, we kind of need him still. Like, he's an elite finisher still. And he brings a lot of experience.
But that transition is absolutely huge. It's not going to be, like maybe some people expect when Leo Messi hangs up his boots. Oh, wait, he did at one point. And Argentina actually struggled for a while.
And he came back.
You want to see Rafael Leao playing not in deference to Ronaldo. You want to see him playing because and for Cristiano Ronaldo, right? And that is really, really important in the long run because you guys can pick up, where you left off instead of having to hurt for a few years because Cristiano Ronaldo has stepped down or has, retired. I know he wants to play through the Euros.
He's going to play. He's going to play in the Euros 2024.
But I do want to put that on record. Like, it is absolutely massive that Portugal continues to succeed, even with Ronaldo not necessarily contributing the way we all normally expect Cristiano Ronaldo to contribute.
I love the Portuguese youth because the Portuguese youth is daily inspired by every Portuguese footballer succeeding in England, in Italy. And that's why I know all these ballers in the academies in Benfica, Sporting, Braga, Estoril, everywhere in Portugal, they can become world-class players because they know they can do it. And I believe in them. Portugal. And my last thing, too, is this belief that I'm saying that I have for the youth. I would like Fernand Sanch to share that belief. And I'm going to point at him because tactic-wise, okay, we beat Czech Republic 4-0. Love to see it for the World Cup. We're going to be prepped. But for the future after World Cup, Pep won't be involved, okay? And Pep is not in the selections. He's been out of the squad, okay? Last week it was announced, no Pep. And what did Fernand Sanch decide to do? Didn't call up anyone to replace Pep because he believes in the 3 center backs he has. But what I gotta say is, when there's no more Pep, you want a good Antonio Silva, a good Gonçalo Inácio, and a good David Carmo. So you should, Fernand Sanch, give a chance to the youth to have the experience before, like, if they can. So why not
100%.
just give them a chance, man? It's ridiculous.
100%. But did I hear this correctly? That Fernando Santos brought João Palhinha on to play center back because he forgot he had Thiago Jallo on the bench?
He said that for that Sanch. Like Antonio Silva is better than those two in the center back position at 18. And me as a Portuguese man would love to see a Ruben and Antonio Silva developing for the future. And Gonçalo Inácio, man, 2 years in the first team of Sporting, okay? So he deserves that chance too. But yeah, it was a bit weird.
That is a bit weird. And then I think he actually said sorry to Thiago Jallo because he's like, I forgot he was there. Well, look at that. Hey, well, we can't go on any further, right? Because we're talking about a lot of these group leaders, all right? Can we go back for a second and just revel in how well Hungary is playing?
It's true. Like, Hungary's surprising. Shoutouts.
Yeah, I mean, they're fun to watch too. They're industrious. They go in and they get stuck in. They've got a guy like Dominik Szoboszlai. They got Daniel Gazdag, Philadelphia Union MVP candidate. They've got this new kid on the left who I really enjoy watching. He's a little raw, but if you don't know Milos Kerkic, definitely go look him up. He plays for AZ Alkmaar in the Eredivisie, and he just had his debut. And he had a debut in beating Germany in Germany. Okay? And Hungary, I mean, they are at the top of a group that they probably have no business being at the top of. Okay? They've beaten England in England 4-0. They've also beaten them, or did they draw them at home? I forget which one it is. But they just continue to impress. And I honestly believe that at some point you have to look at it and say, it's not just luck. It is they have an understanding of how to play stronger teams. They really do have an understanding. And they have turned into a boogeyman for England. And I bet England is pretty damn happy that they're not going to see them at any point during the World Cup. And that's the next step for Hungary. That is the next step for Hungary. So I just needed to shout out Milos Kerkic. I needed to shout out Dominik Szoboszlai because they are playing really well. And I don't think that they get credit because all the attention is on what? All the attention is on England in the mud, Germany losing, Italy obviously not making the World Cup and in the midst of a rebuild. But all credit to them. They have a knack for beating teams in their own home country. They beat Lewandowski in Poland. They beat Northern Ireland in Northern Ireland. I know it's Northern Ireland, but they've beaten a bunch of teams. And I'm really going to be intrigued to see how they grow heading into the Euros, right? The Euros a couple years from now.
And like Hungary knows that they have to play to the strengths of Szoboszlai. And Szoboszlai, in my opinion, is one of the best free kick takers in the world, okay? And he's just getting started. And I agree, they play to the team's strengths in that counter attack. Me, Portugal in the Euros with them, I was quaking, okay, in that group. I didn't enjoy playing against Hungary. And I am sure any team that plays against Hungary, they're quaking just like Portugal did, Italy did, England did, and whoever goes against this team. But yeah, great shout out. Final four, man, with Hungary. I'm happy. We just need that draw. We just need that draw. but
you know who is not impressing me these days?
Let me know.
Norway.
Ooh, Norway. Yes.
Norway.
But Haaland still does. Haaland still does, though. 21 goals for Norway in 22 games.
I understand. A lot of that was against weak opposition, okay? But he couldn't. He needed Slovenia to gift him the goal, right? Because that was not a Erling Haaland staple trademark goal. But it does. It illustrates something right now. Norway losing to Slovenia 2-1. Benjamin Šeško, for all intents and purposes, is treated as the Slovenian Haaland, who is at Red Bull Salzburg. He wins the day. He played better than Erling Haaland on the day, in my opinion.
1 goal, 1 assist.
Exactly. And it illustrates one thing. Erling Haaland has been so ridiculously, just on point. But we also have to remember, for Manchester City, who's supplying him and how many opportunities he has given. And that has not been built yet out at Norway. And I don't know if that's their boss. I think it's Solbakken or Stolbakken. I don't know how to say his last name. Or if it's that the Odegaard and that midfield triumvirate hasn't necessarily kind of taken off. But they're never going to be as industrious as Manchester City is.
I agree.
We have to understand this, right? So unless like Andreas Schelderup and some of these younger guys come through and make a massive, effect on Norway. But how ridiculous is it to think they are not a shoo-in for the Euros, right? We might not see Haaland at a European competition for some time unless there is some invention injected into this, or unless Erling Haaland can do it himself, which it's really hard to do that no matter how good you are.
You
really hard
a lot
to do
of
that.
points there, and no World Cup and no Euros maybe in the future for Haaland. That would be crazy. And no World Cup, it's for Erling Haaland, it's for Salah, Luis Diaz, Barella, Osimhen, Chiesa, Bastoni, Skriniar, and Alaba. All these players will not be in the World Cup, and that is sad, okay? But Haaland, with all these goals, man, you'd expect for him to have a bigger difference for Norway, I agree. And Benjamin Šeško was the star of that night. And Benjamin Šeško just shows the amazing business that Red Bull Group is doing, okay? He's leaving Red Bull Salzburg to Red Bull Leipzig for 20 million, and we know next season he's going to stay just one season at RB Leipzig because every top team will need a striker, and Šeško will have the goals in the Bundesliga to make Leipzig forget Nkunku the right way. So it just shows the organization of the Red Bull Group, and they know they needed Šeško when Nkunku leaves next summer. I understand it. I understand it.
Absolutely. And case in point, Benjamin Šeško going to Leipzig, getting them for 20 million euros, which is great business. You're right. One season. But the illustration here is something bigger, right? Because we all know who's probably going to be first on that list. In terms of trying to secure him after his time at Leipzig. And that, if it's not United, it's going to be Todd Boehly and Chelsea, because Todd Boehly and Chelsea they've already gone after Šeško, okay? And when they couldn't get Šeško early on, okay, you want to know what Todd Boehly did?
What did he do?
He made his transfer target the technical director for Red Bull Salzburg, Christopher Freund.
Man, cheeky, man. Cheeky.
Like this guy, Todd Boehly, is relentless. He knows that he needs to drain other brains from different places. And if you want to build a club structure like Red Bull's got, who better to get than one of the guys that has been the architect of Haaland? He's been the architect of all these phenomenal Adeyemi, all these phenomenal talents that have come through, and that they've made so much money. But he didn't give in. He stayed for Salzburg. We'll see. We'll see how long. But I had to bring that up because Benjamin Šeško started that process of saying, well, Boehly, if I can't get the player I want, I'm going to go after the guy that is keeping him at Salzburg or at Leipzig.
Man, that
makes sense.
Mad. That's mad. And Todd Boehly, I like that rationale, but I don't know if that's the right way of doing it, because he seems like he still trusts that Red Bull Group project, okay? That shows a lot of potential long term, because Red Bull is a brand that in every sport they seem to be one of the best. And in scouts, it's not even with money invested. It's like best decision making with the money. Red Bull Salzburg, Leipzig, they're all doing just that. But
and maybe they should sponsor a football podcast. Wink, wink.
Put that hat on. I love it. But Haaland, though, is going bold with those numbers, and I just want to put it out. Haaland has scored more goals in the Premier League in 2022 than Mo Salah, Ronaldo, and Gabriel Jesus, and he just arrived in August. He's just arrived. He's just arrived to the Premier League.
It's
bonkers. That's mad. And for Norway, they sure expect it. Around him, Martin Odegaard can be that De Bruyne that you were talking. Nusa can go bold. Sander Berge can show both sides. And the Norwegian future can make it happen. I believe in it, man. Come on. What about Norway? But a national team that wasn't a similar, I'd say, level to Norway. And Norway can become the new Serbia, okay? Because Serbia, in my opinion, are one of the biggest dark horses in this World Cup. And Mitrovic, I'm going to say this. This is a bold prediction. But Mitrovic in this World Cup, I think, will be in the top 3 goal scorers of the World Cup. I fully believe, even if they stay only in the group stage, Mitrovic is going to go bold in the group with Brazil. Brazil, man. You guys have to be ready for Mitrovic. Definitely, man. Yeah. Definitely.
I don't know what it is, what he's been eating as of late. I didn't know he could get much stronger, but what he was doing, he was simply brushing those Swedish center backs off of him in order to score that hat trick. And then collectively, the whole Serbian community, every Serbian supporter out there had to hold their breath as they watched him limp off with a little injury near the end. But he was really, really quick to say, it's just a bruised knee. I'll be okay. I'm ready for Norway, which is going to be a massive cup final for them.
Love it. And Mitrovic, 67 goals in 75 games for Fulham and Serbia. Serbia's top goal scorer ever, and no doubt in my mind, Mitrovic must be considered one of the most underrated strikers right now in football at Fulham. Must be.
I have nothing to refute that because it's all facts. It really is all facts. And it is phenomenal to see. It really is phenomenal to see because this guy, it shows you can go down to the championship. You can get really good down there. You can score your goals. You can rewrite record books, and you can come back like a bat out of hell, like a phoenix rising, and take the Premier League by storm. And also, if we're going to talk about Mitrovic, the biggest glaring difference between Haaland and chance creation with Norway and Mitrovic and chance creation with Serbia, the midfield is the biggest difference. It's Sergej Milinkovic-Savic.
And Tadic.
It's Filip Kostic. It's Tadic, Dusan Tadic. Absolutely. These are players that have played together for a really long period of time, that have gone through disappointments, that have gone through heartbreaks, but have still managed to create this core that will create for Mitrovic, that will create behind him, if not Mitrovic, for Vlahovic.
Agreed.
If not for Vlahovic, they'll create for Luka Jovic. And it's really, really impressive to see. And I 100% hope that this doesn't turn into one of the most disappointing build-ups because Serbia is playing wonderful football right now. And I am really going to be watching this Holland-Norway versus Vlahovic and Mitrovic Serbia moving forward. But come on. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic is different gravy right now. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is it. He's going to play in the World Cup. He's probably going to be one of the best midfielders in the World Cup. And at the end of the World Cup, somebody needs to come in and give this man a step up when it comes to club football. Not that Lazio is not having a good start to the season, but man, this guy's got to test his mettle elsewhere.
Facts. There's not one thing that Milinkovic-Savic does wrong in his midfield position. It's insane how he's still there. I completely agree. And I completely agree, too, that the Serbian core behind Mitrovic is very, very underrated. And it's underrated that Vlahovic plays next to Mitrovic and does assist Mitrovic and Mitrovic to Vlahovic too. Like, what a bold duo at strikers, okay, for Serbia. Just like Iran with Taremi and Sardar Azmoun playing together too. Like, those two. Like, you got good teams with two strikers playing forwards in this World Cup. So that's going to be very exciting to see. But people, tell us down below, do you believe that Serbia is going to do something crazy in the World Cup? Is Mitrovic going to be a top 3 goal scorer? Tell us your predictions. But we're mentioning Serbia. I want to touch base with the Brazil-Ghana game, okay? Because Brazil, okay, I was asked this on stream of which player would I love to see play for Portugal, and my answer was quick. It was Neymar Jr., okay? Neymar this season is giving me real chills for Brazil to get the exit. I completely believe that Brazil are serious contenders to win this World Cup. A top 3, 100%. And it's because of Neymar in 2022 having 12 games, 11 goals, and 10 assists. Now it's just chance for the Ballon d'Or. So, gotta say that.
Yeah, two assists in a 3-0 win versus Ghana. And this is a man having fun. This is a man that we didn't think it was possible for him to be having fun at the club level and at the national level at the same time. But damn it, he is.
He is.
And I have to say, after this international window, I might be changing my favorite from a Euro team to either Brazil or Argentina, because both of them, there's no injury crisis. They are playing really good, expressive, solid, progressive football, and they are fun as hell to watch. And it's just whether or not, once they get to Qatar, are they going to freeze up in the moment, or is this a squad that is deep enough? Because remember, this Brazilian team was beaten up on Ghana without the Gabriels, right?
True.
There was no Gabriel Jesus, there was no Gabriel Magalhães, there was no any of those. But Richarlison had 2 goals, right? So this Brazilian team is deep.
You got Anthony, Richarlison, you got Rafinha there, Vinicius Jr. Like, yeah, they're stacked. Gabriel Jesus is not there, true, but I think they gave a chance to Pedro, okay? And I think they're going to go with Jesus too. Firmino's there too.
Yeah.
Like, Coutinho is my biggest doubt. Why Coutinho there and no Martinelli or Gabriel Jesus to have a chance in this World Cup? It's Coutinho's just status by now, in my opinion. And another player that must start for Brazil, in my opinion, it's Bruno Guimarães. Next to Neymar, conducting that midfield, he's gonna go bold. Casemiro, Fabinho's, like Danilo with that interesting new role. And another player too that I believe is gonna be a great option to have is Eder Militão. Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, Eder Militão must be, and Bremer. Those are my decisions for Brazil. I can say it already. And Eder Militão because he can play center back and full back too. Something that is great and needed with Tite. Tite ball. Will it happen, man? If Brazil wins the World Cup, it can. No, I have to accept it.
But I'm going to say it right now. I mean, this is a question I would love to know the answer to from those that listen to us.
Yes.
I would love to know whether or not heading into a World Cup, you want everything to be so rosy. You want everyone scoring goals, everyone having fun, playing good football, because, you know, when you're at the top, sometimes you fall before you rise again, right? Or would you rather have your team rife with issues? Now, issues that are solvable. Maybe, you know, in England, maybe it's personnel, maybe it's tactical. I'm trying to think of another team, France, right?
Yes.
Mbappé rules all. Benzema needs to come back. Other things like that. Personnel issues and fighting through the possibility of a curse. Which would you rather have? A team that is riding high, riding a momentous wave into the World Cup, or would you rather have a team that has issues they got to work out so that they grind down and they get to it and they look at it instead as a problem they got to solve at the World Cup together?
I
don't know the answer.
I think
Which one would you have?
I'd rather have a team that's very happy, because in Qatar, it's going to be very weird circumstances. It's going to be very hot, and the team's always going to be together. What can you do in Qatar but have fun? And if the Brazil team is having fun together, I think that is scary scenes in a hot country. I don't think England players are going to be dealing with hot weather like Brazil players are. They're going to be dancing on that pitch. So let's wait and see what's going to happen with Brazil in the World Cup. So yes, tell us down below your predictions. And if you're listening to us until now, do not forget to like this podcast, people. Go bold. And yes, Here, the last thing I wanted to mention. Can I go here, Breton, to the charity?
Oh God.
I wanted to mention this.
Whoa. We can mention it. We can mention it. And before we get to the American star of that charity game, the Sidemen FC charity game, I gotta say, there's three more little nibbles that I gotta take on Nations League. One, kudos to Israel. They have won promotion to, you ready for this? To League A. They are going to be playing Giants next time in UEFA Nations League. Okay, that's a pretty dang good achievement, and I'm ready for Lyle Abada. Okay, in Nations League A. Second, Kavica Kvaratskhelia did it again. Kvaradona scored again for Georgia, and Georgia once again is just a fun team to watch right now. And Kvaradona is the largest reason why, and he continues to do it. Which you expect him to kind of revert back to the mean. Nope, not with this kid. Okay, this kid is a lot of fun to watch. And thirdly, I just have to mention U.S. men's national team, not inspiring just yet.
Not even a shot. Not even a shot against Japan. What happened there?
First time in a really long time that was the case. And Christian Pulisic they are being precautionary with him. They pulled him out of the starting 11. Hopefully he plays versus Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. But that's basically why I brought up that dichotomy between having a team that's riding and playing really good, phenomenal football before the World Cup. And then there's the team that needs something. Because right now, U.S. men's national team, Weston McKennie is playing terribly. I don't think there's really any other way to put it. But even if Weston McKennie looks at that tape and says, "Yeah, I'm doing well," then he's an idiot. He's an idiot, right?
I don't think
because Weston McKennie, no, and he doesn't think like that. Hopefully, he is as jazzed up as everyone else is around him because he was playing really good football before he broke that metatarsal, right? Mm-hmm. And since he's come back, he hasn't been great for Juve. Since he's come back, he certainly was not great for the U.S. men's national team versus Japan.
Mm-hmm.
We are missing Yunus Musa. It was maybe too fast. Yunus Musa is out injured too, and we were missing him. And those people that don't think Yunus Musa is more important to this squad than people have been giving him credit for, now is your proof. That is your proof. It is there. Yunus Musa does a lot of work off the ball on the defense, and he does a lot of work progressing the ball forward, and we don't have that right now. Brendan Aronson looked lost on the wing. I hate to say that, but there are things that they've got to work, and it doesn't look good. But then again, Group B in World Cup, England, Wales, U.S. men's national team, Iran. Yes, the form is up on Iran. So who the heck knows what's going to happen?
But, I wouldn't be surprised if Wales and U.S. managed to go through. And England, Southgate would be so out in that circumstance.
We'll see.
We'll wait and see. But put down below your predictions of Group B, man. I love to see that. And yes, I did say I was going to give a bit of a shout out to the Sidemen charity match. And I want to say, what a beautiful event, man. And to have 1 million, generated for charity, that is unbelievable and a great gesture from the Sidemen FC and a great event. 2.5 million people were watching live at a certain time. That is mad. And to see the effect that it has, it's unbelievable. Raised over.
And the ground that they picked for this, the Charlton Athletic Ground, the Valley, it was so perfect for the whole event. And everybody was on top of the field. You could hear them. And they picked some personalities there. But come on. Hey, I'm all for U.S. men's national team call up for Noah Beck. How about you?
Noah Beck in midfield next to Philly. Noah Beck showed with that assist the speed. Please, Speed, just learn about the offside, man. In my opinion, Speed should play fullback because he's got that ruthlessness, he's got the tackling ability, and the speed that comes in the name. I think he's the perfect fullback, and I want to give a shout out to Speed by saying, in my opinion, He's the man that's made me have the biggest laughs this year, and he's the best entertainer, in my opinion, of 2022. Speed went bold, in my opinion, this year. Like, that,
well, listen,
the clip's unbelievable. He's so funny. Speed.
But that virtually guarantees that you don't want him to learn the offsides rules, because then he's not as funny. But listen, I am a little perturbed by the fact that the U.S. men's soccer Twitter sphere and U.S. men's national team have not gotten Speed involved. Okay, because it just makes no sense that the first thing that he does from a charity standpoint is he goes over there and plays with Sidemen. I think it's amazing that they got him, and it's very clearly because Sidemen are so huge on all social media channels, and the U.S. in terms of footballing, we're catching up on that media side of things. But to not get Speed out at the MLS game, right? MLS All-Star game, or get him involved the same way they've gotten Noah Beck involved. It's kind of an opportunity miss. It's an opportunity miss. Right?
Speed's Portuguese, man. He stated it.
He is?
He's Portuguese. Well, at least he's got the spirit. He's always wearing that jersey, man. At 17, man. I absolutely love it. I love it. And I want to give a shout out, man. Cal the Dragon. What was that, man? Okay, he had some stinkers. And here in Portugal, I've seen 12-year-olds in academy football do more saves than Cal the Dragon. That is fucked, okay? I have to say it, man. But
wait, how old is Cal the Dragon? I thought he was 12.
No, hey,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Low blow. Hey, but listen,
I like him, but he's the same.
But listen, Mark, he cost Mark Goldbridge the game.
Mark Goldbridge tactics on point too, man. I love to see like the Speed and Goldbridge interactions between each other. That was bold indeed too. But yeah, just having an event like this, man. Great job, KSI, Mr. B, Sidemen, everyone that's involved, and Chunks, man. What a worldie from Chunks, too.
40 yards out.
All of a sudden, Chunks decided to put to Cal the Dragon. That wasn't ready. Bold moment from Chunks, too. But yeah, that was great to see. My days.
I think if they want true Portuguese flavor, though, they probably got to give you a call, huh?
But I'll be honest. I think I play better than some of them that were there. I'll be honest. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Okay.
Right.
I can say that here on podcast to the people. And yes, I can say something else. I might say something else. But I'll keep it for the next one, maybe. But I'll say this to the community. We have a very, very special surprise coming to the FC Wonderkid community. Fresh new content coming. And I'm going to give a chance to the community to try and guess. Whoever guesses, okay, what is the special new content that me and Breton will have, they get maybe a piece of merch. They get a piece of merch, okay? I can already say it. Put down below in the comment section, what do you believe is going to happen with FC Wonderkid in the coming months? What new content's going to come? Try and guess in our new episode to get content. Link in bio, man. Just wanted to say that. Breton, do you want to give a hint?
It's something that's never been done before between you and I.
Ooh, so people put in the comment section with that hint your thoughts. But yes, episode 74, another one in the wraps. And if you're listening until now, do not forget to follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and like the podcast. Thank you for listening to us until now, and thank you, community, for going bold on a weekly basis. Love it.